Former President Donald Trump, who has made bold claims about his ability to swiftly end the war in Ukraine, has drastically revised his proposed deadline for brokering a ceasefire between Russia and Ukraine, signaling a notable shift in his approach to the ongoing conflict. This latest development underscores both the unpredictable nature of Trump's foreign policy stance and the revolving geopolitical dynamics surrounding the two-year-long war, a promise rewritten during his 2024 campaign trail. Trump repeatedly boasted that he could end the Russia-Ukraine war within 24 hours of returning to office. The promise was widely criticized as unrealistic and overly simplistic, yet it became a staple of his campaign rhetoric, energizing his base and reinforcing his image as a master dealmaker. However, in a recent interview and subsequent campaign appearance in Ohio, Trump revised this claim significantly. Instead of a 24-hour window, he stated he would get the process started on day one and have a comprehensive ceasefire plan in place within 60 days. This new timeline marks a sharp departure from his earlier promise and suggests either a recognition of the complexities of the conflict or a strategic recalibration of expectations. Ahead of the 2024 election, mixed reactions. Trump's shift has sparked a flurry of reactions across the political spectrum. Supporters argue that the revised plan reflects a more pragmatic and grounded approach. "This is Trump adjusting to the realpolitik of war diplomacy," said a former Trump administration official. "He's still aiming to do what Biden has failed to do, bring both sides to the table." Critics, however, accuse Trump of backtracking and misleading voters with earlier overly ambitious promises. Democratic lawmakers pounced on the revised timeline as evidence that Trump was never serious about peace in Ukraine. He went from ending the war in 24 hours to needing 2 months just to get a plan. "This is not leadership, it's bluster," said Representative Jamie Raskin. The Ukraine-Russia situation, the war in Ukraine, now in its third year, has caused widespread devastation, with tens of thousands of casualties and millions of people displaced. While the front lines have shifted little in recent months, the conflict has become a grinding war of attrition. With neither side showing signs of backing down, diplomatic solutions have stalled, and Western military support for Ukraine remains crucial to its resistance. Russia, under President Vladimir Putin, insists it will not negotiate without recognition of its claimed territorial gains in eastern Ukraine and Crimea. Ukraine, led by President Volodymyr Zelensky, has firmly rejected any ceasefire that would solidify Russian control over occupied territory. These opposing conditions have made diplomacy extremely difficult. Trump's peace proposal, details, still vague despite the new 60-day window. Trump has not released any formal details of how he plans to achieve a ceasefire. Sources close to the campaign suggest he is considering a strategy that would include intense back-channel diplomacy, conditional sanctions relief for Russia, and a push for international peace talks brokered by neutral countries like Turkey or India. "There is no magic wand," said a European diplomat in response to Trump's comments. "Any negotiation will require painful compromises, and neither Kyiv nor Moscow is currently prepared to make them." Trump has repeatedly claimed that his personal relationship with Putin gives him a unique advantage. "Putin respects me. He didn't invade Ukraine when I was in office," Trump said at a recent rally. But foreign policy experts warn that personal rapport is unlikely to override entrenched geopolitical interests. Implications for 2024 election. This revision of the ceasefire timeline comes at a critical moment in the 2024 U.S. presidential race. Trump's standing among Republican voters remains strong, but general election polls suggest a tight contest with President Joe Biden. The war in Ukraine has become a partisan flashpoint, with many Republicans increasingly skeptical of continued U.S. aid. Trump's updated stance may be aimed at bridging the gap between hardline isolationists in his party, who want an end to military support for Ukraine, and more moderate Republicans who support diplomatic solutions. By shifting from a 24-hour peace to a 60-day plan, Trump appears to be walking a line between maintaining his populist appeal and presenting himself as a credible alternative to Biden on foreign policy. What comes next? With no immediate end in sight to the Russia-Ukraine war. The international community will be watching closely to see whether Trump follows through with any concrete proposals. The Biden administration has dismissed Trump's claims as fantasy and reaffirmed its commitment to Ukraine's defense. Nonetheless, Trump's new messaging may resonate with war-weary Americans, who are increasingly skeptical of endless foreign entanglements. Whether his revised promise is a smart recalibration or a sign of political weakness remains to be seen. One thing is clear. The war in Ukraine will remain a central issue in the 2024 campaign, and Trump's evolving stance adds a layer of unpredictability to an already volatile global situation.